What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy John, saluting you from Harlow. Hope all is well on the other side of the internet. I'm just going for a little walk today. My brain feels a bit roasted. I feel like I've taken a bit too much dopamine. I feel like I've been pleasuring myself too much. Not in that way, but I mean videos, YouTube, music, friends, just too much of it, and my brain just feels burnt out. So I need to take a bit of a breather from all this. But I've got an interesting topic for you today, so stay tuned for it, because I think you need to hear this. I think you've got to hear this, especially if you're a young man, right? And you're trying to formulate yourself, you're trying to figure yourself out, and you know that you need to figure yourself out, right? You know you need to do some right thing. Your biology tells you, your mind tells you, even the world tells you, you've got to sort your shit out. So I think it's important. Definitely think it's important. Smooth transition, man. Smooth. So what do I mean by you need to listen to this, right? I've been talking about that for a while. What do I mean? I'll tell you what I mean. I mean, what the hell are you doing in your life, man? What are you working towards? There's this massive culture of self-improvement for men, especially, right? You gotta grind. You gotta get that thing, bro. You gotta get high status and be high value, and it can get a bit overwhelming because it's just so much information. A lot of the times, it's other people's dreams that are being pushed onto you. So the real thing is, okay, why do we do this? Why do we keep looking for gurus? Why? Why do we look for gurus when you've got your own voice, you've got your own life experiences, certainly. You certainly have the capacity to learn from others and go into the world and learn even more, and learn from trial and error to some degree as well. But why aren't you doing it? What's the big thing? And I think I know what the big problem is. I think the big problem is we're so confused. Right, we're so confused, we're so lost, we're in chaos, right? Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot. He talks a lot about chaos and how if there's too much chaos, this is what mental illness is, this is what anxiety is, and if you take that anxiety to the fullest extent, it turns into depression, and this depression is nothing more than a result of a lack of meaning in your life. I mean, you've got no reason to live, let's be real. The human organism was designed to overcome challenges. It was designed to overcome problems, to look towards the next mountain, conquer that mountain, go to the next one, provide some kind of value and use to its tribe, and find a mate one day, get married, have kids, or whatever, right? Basically, that's the cycle of all humanity. If you don't have that kind of coherent structure in your own life, what do you think is going to happen to your mental state? What do you think is going to happen to your mental health? And certainly, what do you think is going to happen to you? I mean, the conclusion is you have no meaning in your life whatsoever. So you're obviously going to feel suicidal. You're probably going to feel quite depressed, and men have done that, right? Men have killed themselves. Men have committed suicide, and right now we have a whole generation of men that are utterly lost. They're striving for meaning, and it's ironic because we actually fought very hard for this freedom that we have. This very freedom called depression and existential angst is a freedom we have earned, because we never used to have this when we were younger. I don't mean us physically when we were younger, I mean our ancestors. Go back to the 1600s, there was no depression, more or less. There was just you died. You just died. If you didn't survive, you died. If you didn't become successful, if you didn't find your place in the world, you just died, and that was the end of it. We had structures, we had pathways in place. You usually did the thing your father did. You had that structure in place. You just followed it in your father's footsteps, and that was it. You didn't have this thing where you've got all these options and all these choices. You didn't have this thing where you didn't know what the hell it is that you wanted to do or needed to do. This is a modern luxury. And for this, we have liberalism to blame. Liberalism, or the liberal democratic mentality, Because the liberal democratic mentality simply says that the individual is the most important thing. The state, and I guess to some degree religion as well, is not important. Hence why Nietzsche said God is dead, because we did kill God, essentially. And what did we do in God's place? We put ourselves at the highest mantle. And when we put ourselves in the highest mantle, it's up to us now to decide what it is that we need to achieve in our lives. That's a fucking hard thing, man. That ain't easy, bro. That ain't easy. That's really hard. And it becomes even harder in today's age because there's so many options. There's so many places to look. There's so many alternatives. And there's so many distractions. And the thing is, in this kind of society where we don't have any meaning or structure or coherent logic towards any particular vision that we ourselves have articulated or somebody else has articulated, be it the Bible, the Quran, be it Marxism, be it Nazism, be it wokeism, I don't really know, to be honest. It doesn't matter. All these ideologies are there to provide you with a structure, a little box, and allow you to find meaning and purpose in today's world. What if I said that that was already there for you, your meaning and purpose? It's already there, not only in your biology, in your own psyche, but the Bible or God says this. And when I say God and the Bible, I mean that's just an extension of a human archetypal wisdom that is actually existent in all value structures, at least value structures that have survived, right? Because Marxism, I mean, it barely survived. It survived as an ideology or a dogma, but it didn't actually survive as a manifestation of what it purported to create in reality. Where's the utopia? Where's the communist utopia? Where's the egalitarian society? I don't see it. And all I see is Marxists saying we need to fight, we need to take down the system, we need to kill and destroy the current exploiters and the opportunists and the capitalists and the top 1%, the bourgeoisie. We need to destroy them. But I don't see the society ever being created in history and today. It doesn't exist. And fascism, well, I think fascism had its first rendition, but I reckon fascism is going to come again, 100%. 100%. It's going to be more brutal this time. It's going to be more... There's a good chance fascism comes back again, not only in America, but in Europe as well. Because it's in these societies where fascism actually started. And it's in these societies where fascism is going to run rampant. Because in these societies is where the most cultural defamation and destruction is taking place from wokist ideologies. If you look at the story, wokeism began because of apology. We're sad because we're sorry, actually, because of racism. We're sorry because of the colonialism. We're sorry about everything we've done in the world. You know, we're sorry. So we're going to be woke now, and we're going to destroy all of the pillars in our society and community and culture that would ever purport such a thing from happening again. But by doing so, what they've done is they've made the case for the far-right reactionaries and the far-right fascists even more stronger. Because they're going to come back. I mean, young men nowadays, they're certainly not surviving in a woke society. They're going to want to be led by strong men. They're going to want to be led by strong people. And I'm sorry to say this, but the wokists aren't presenting a very good candidate for strength. They present a great example of what it looks like when you have an angry, mentally ill mob. But they don't represent a good example of a society or a people that I or any other young man would like to be himself. Because it's an apologetic and weak ideology. It's based on exploitation. We're being exploited, we need to do something about it. But it's not actually true, is it? And the reason it's not true is because, well, alright, there is exploitation going on, but the way that the Marxists and the wokists are talking about going around it isn't really going to work, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because men aren't going to follow it. And the men that are going to follow it are going to be very weak men. The strong men, or the men that want to be strong, are eventually going to side with the fascists. Because the fascists are going to represent strength, victory, testosterone. That's what men want to be. I'm sorry to say this, but that's how men are designed, and that's who men are going to emulate. I'm not saying I am, because I'm not about this little fight. It's not my fight, certainly not. I'm taking my fight elsewhere. But the fight in Europe, oh god, it's going to be very fascistic. And honestly, I don't think there's a way we can stop it. Nature and history has its way of playing out these things, and all we can do is just wait it out and see what happens.